Pikmin is quite the franchise, sorta spawning from that original demonstration software slash battle royale game, I guess, Super Mario 128. It eventually was given an entirely unique image, not before being conceptualized as Adam and Eve. That would have been weird. Nintendo was set to have this be one of its premier games for their newest console, the GameCube. There was a trailer included within the menus of Luigi's Mansion, a console launch title, and there was a few trophies for it in the massive holiday title, Super Smash Bros. Melee. Oh yeah, the game also released the same day as Melee. I wonder which one sold more. Pikmin would go on to be one of Nintendo's bigger franchises out there. It's obviously not at the level of like Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, not even Metroid, but it's definitely a notable name in Nintendo's giant pantheon. We got 3 main games, we got a spin-off, Captain Olimar is playable in Super Smash Bros., and we got plenty of extras. There's a whole lot that this plant simulator slash real-time strategy game brought to the table. Like a Bulborb plush that can conveniently fit a Pikmin plush inside of. It's perfect. And right about now, fans of this franchise are really salivating over Pikmin 4, the game that does in fact exist, but also doesn't exist at the same time. It's Schrodinger's Pikmin game. And I'll be honest, I just got sick of waiting, so instead of waiting for anything Pikmin related to drop on the Switch, I'm going to take this time to play through all 4 of the existing Pikmin games and talk about them throughout the entirety of this month. You can call it Pikmin Month, that's very, very simple. You can call it Pik Month if you want to be a little creative, but I got something a little better. Welcome to Olimarch. For those of you who are still sticking around, let's talk about Pikmin 1. Pikmin tells the story of Captain Olimar, who has crash-landed on a mysterious planet after flying directly into a meteor. I guess space shuttles also have their own blind spots. Didn't know that, good to know. And already a neat little tidbit here, Olimar's name is more or less an anagram of Mario. Pretty clever. He awakens to find his ship, the Dolphin, named after the GameCube's codename, totally destroyed with pieces scattering everywhere. The oxygen of the planet is also considered poisonous, and he only has 30 days to live unless he can repair his ship. That is a whole lot just stacked up against one guy. It really goes to show, man, this is a good life lesson. You gotta pay attention when you're driving. But being stranded and useless on said random planet, what do? Well, you start plucking an army of plant-like creatures, the Pikmin, named after a brand of Pick carrots that Olimar really likes. And you do this by utilizing their nests, the onions, named after, well, I guess the shape of an onion. I think the cleverness of the names only goes so far. And from there you go on an adventure. That's all the plot that we have, but that's really all the plot that we need. This is a story all about exploring a brand new world and just trying to overcome all of the odds that are stacked up against you. And honestly, more enjoyable than any potential story here is seeing Olimar chronicle his journey every single night, reacting to what he just experienced, and sometimes even talking about memories of his son. Wow, that is a great way to throw out some character development in a game like this. Olimar is a family man. Cool. The beginning area, the impact site, is pretty small and lacks any sort of threat, giving you a good chance to understand just how this brand new franchise expects you to play it. By commanding your Pikmin towards objects, they will begin to carry them back to either their onion or to your ship. Items, such as these colored pellets and fallen enemies, can be used to grow your army, while the ship parts naturally get sucked right back into your ship, and they somehow reinstall themselves. That's pretty good technology, if you ask me. And a lot of this game consists of taking your army and just chucking them at anything that stands in your way. And man, I gotta tell you, the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, these are some of my favorite controllers for a reason. The process of doing this is damn near perfection. It is so satisfying just pointing at something and then seeing your Pikmin land on it and begin attacking, and they make the little noises. Oh, it's damn near therapeutic. This is easily the way to play Pikmin. And this is of course talking about the Wii version, which naturally released many years later after the original. But for the sake of this video, I did have the opportunity to play the original GameCube version, and I gotta be honest with you. This kinda blows, dude. I guess we can chalk this one up to the lack of nostalgia or something, but man, I just cannot play Pikmin with the analog sticks. It's like this weird system where the left stick controls not only Olimar, but the cursor at the same time. I guess really there was no other way to do it since you still need a second stick for other maneuvers, but the lack of total precision here is an absolute nightmare for me. Maybe for some of you out there, analog sticks is the only way you can experience this game, but for me, once you play the Wii version, there is absolutely no going back. I'm actually able to sort of sequence break with this one. Hell yeah, dude. Not saying that disaster still won't strike from time to time, but it happens less. Yeah, I'm just gonna restart that one. I'm not gonna have that much Pikmin blood on my hands, not today. Also, you can do this. I don't know what he's doing, but he seems to be enjoying himself. Alrighty, and with that, we have everything going back to base. That is perfect. Just gotta round up this mushroom real quick. What happened? The controls here are super simplistic. For a game like this, it's not about over-inundating you with a ton of options, it's about mastering the few options that you're given. There is a 30-day limit to complete this game, each day taking about 13 minutes or so, because when night falls, the enemies come out looking for dinner. And easily, some of the fun here is learning how to maximize your time. Where all the enemies are, when to take them out, do you want to go for all the ship parts as soon as you find them, or do you want to clear out the pathway first? Maybe you just want to take a day to grind Pikmin out and then find nectar to give them flowers, making them faster and stronger. Your adventure is entirely your own. Quite a few times in this game you could find yourself just sitting and waiting for things to get done, and on the surface, that is a problem. You gotta just sit there and be super patient, but most times it's probably beneficial to let those Pikmin do something while you go do something else. It's all about multitasking here. Although you do have to waste time individually plucking each and every Pikmin. That's pretty annoying considering there's beta footage out there that shows off that the whistle that you have used to be able to pull out every single grounded Pikmin at once. Why did you take that out? Understanding each Pikmin's strength so you know how to fill out your 100 plant army is also important. The reds are the most powerful and can walk through fire, yellows can be thrown higher as well as carry bombs, and the blues can go through water. The bomb thing, I'll admit, that's a really weird one. Each Pikmin type has hands, but somehow only the yellow ones can use them? The other Pikmin, I guess, see bombs and they're like, yeah, no, I know what happens here. This ain't it for me, Chief. Meanwhile, the yellows, they just don't care. What a soldier, rest in peace. And I gotta say, man, I adore the design of the Pikmins too. They are the perfect amount of cute and just weird looking. I'm sure the design behind this game was to also be a technological showcase for the GameCube, since you can have up to 100 of these little worker ant creatures on screen doing stuff at once, and the frame rate rarely ever dips. That's pretty impressive. And then learning how different each location is also satisfying. The forest navel is dark and murky and very tightly packed, while the distant spring is bright, kinda foggy, and pretty open. The game manages to keep the nature aesthetic throughout, and does just enough to keep things diverse from start to finish. All of these things factored in make for an adventure that is really fun to experience your first time through, and then also fun in a different way, repeat playthroughs if you want to perfect your strategies. What initially took me roughly 25 days or so to complete on my first playthrough, I've knocked it down to about half of that. And I hear this complaint a lot, but people really don't like the idea of being timed when they play a video game. With each in-game day taking less than 15 minutes, you gotta dedicate time to taking Pikmin out at the start of every day. By the end, you have to make sure everyone's all rounded up. I get it, it could be kind of annoying if you just want to play as freely as you want, but to me, there's just a joy in taking advantage of the world that Pikmin has created. Those monsters are devastating, they're more powerful at night, gotta make sure every one of them is safe. I have an army here that I'm bringing into battle, but I also have to make sure I have that army for the next day. I really like it. I know a lot of people don't. When you have something like the Wollywog that's ready to jump and you got Pikmin under it, you can tell that's very stressful. I don't like it. And while this adventure is all about repairing your ship, everything that you do is actually preparing you for the boss battles. And it's like, they're not even like these massive encounters or anything. The unique boss monsters just sort of happen to be there. They're treated as just another obstacle, much like any other enemy. I know that goes against almost every video game tradition out there, but I really enjoyed how the bosses were handled here. There's something about them just being integrated with the world that you're exploring freely, as opposed to just having a boss level, if that makes sense. No matter what, it still requires appropriate planning to take them down. There aren't many of them, but they still offer a unique threat. There are even 2 bosses that can appear on alternate days back at the impact site. Neither of which are actually threatening in the slightest, it's just more so neat than anything. But then there's the matter of the Smoky Prog, a secret optional boss at the Distant Spring that only shows up before day 15. I don't even really know how to properly explain this demonic looking thing. He doesn't even look finished. Like, half of him is just gone. And it's all smoky, it's weird, it's creepy. I don't like it. All I really know about it is it absolutely demolishes Pikmin. Ooh yeah, that's what we in the industry like to call a big oof. And you see, when I lose a bunch of Pikmin like that, I will gladly restart the day and undo all of my damages. But if I lose like just 1 or 2, If only a couple Pikmin die in one day, I really don't worry about it too much. Yeah, no matter how many times you say it, it still sounds demented when you say it out loud. But after enough time spent on the planet, eventually you score all of the ship pieces that you need. Actually, some of them are optional, too. It's really weird, because why not go for all of them, but okay. It's a relatively simple process getting all of these. The only one that really stands out is this one, where you have to change a Pikmin's type from blue to yellow and then back to blue. That's a pretty cool idea, and it's a really good test for proper multitasking. Everything you've worked for culminates at the final trial, a really short level that ends off with the Emperor Bulblax, a freaky looking abomination that lives underground until you decide to mess with it. And I gotta say, even though most of the bosses in this game are just sort of there, like I said, this is a really neat final boss in terms of tension. The only way you can successfully take this one out is with the bombs, which one screw up can lead to a few lost lives. And then sometimes he crouches down, his eyes get all big and he jumps. It's kind of terrifying, I'm not gonna lie. But you just sort of do that on loop for a little bit, and then soon enough, he goes down, and we get the last part of the ship, a piggy bank. That is not at all what I expected. I guess the last thing he needed before he went home is all of the money that he saved up until then. I mean, to be fair, that piggy bank is also an optional treasure, so you don't even need to do the final boss. That's kinda cool, I guess. I don't care, that Bulblax is ugly, he's going down. Olimar says goodbye to his new friends, the Pikmin that were with you learn how to fend for themselves, and we see the captain fly off back home. It's a pretty great ending music, I gotta say. And then you get to marvel at how good you did. I think I did pretty well with this playthrough here. Not really all that proud of the whole 75 lives thing, but I mean, hey, it's in the past. And then we see the credits, and I love how they roll across the planet. That's a really cool look. And that is that for the best ending, but actually, one of the best parts about Pikmin 1 that goes completely unrecognized is that it actually has 2 more endings. If you manage to get all 25 mandatory ship parts, but not the complete 30, Olimar, he just bails on all of the Pikmin without letting them know. So they just end up sitting there and wonder if they're ever gonna see him again. Oh my god, Olimar's a jerk in this one. I can see why it's not canon. But then the actual best ending of the game, if you don't even manage to get those 25 pieces, Olimar tries to leave the same exact way, except, yeah, no, it's not a smart move when the ship doesn't have all the right parts. And then, as the captain is legitimately nearing death, let's not forget that, the Pikmin carry him to an onion and then plant him. This is better than the actual best ending. But to be fair, you don't get this awesome recap of all the monsters that we encountered in those last 2 endings. This is a great reward on top of getting all the ship parts, and this too has fantastic music. This is one of my favorite tracks in the game by far. This rare subspecies of Bulborb has a certain, oh boy, indefatigability. Okay, we get it, somebody went to college. The game occasionally has its rough moments, but overall, Pikmin is a fantastic game. The act of growing an army and taking them out to battle on a journey that you forge on your own is just simple fun and satisfaction. But diving deep into the mechanics and multitasking unlocks a whole new level of challenge for a great reason to replay this game multiple times. I've played it through like 15 times at this point and I'm still not sick of it. And actually, there is a challenge mode too, changing up aspects of each of the levels, tasking you with figuring out the best way to get as many Pikmin as possible in a single day. It's great stuff. The Wii version is definitely the way to go in my opinion, but no matter what console you play it on, Pikmin is a fantastic game that is worth experiencing. Even if you've never played a real-time strategy game before, I had never played an RTS before Pikmin, and I gotta tell ya, after playing it, I get it now, man. My mind is just going a million miles a minute. The micromanaging, I'm a huge fan of nowadays. This is a perfect gateway into that genre. But maybe you just know that that's not your thing. Then maybe Pikmin 2 is what you're looking for. Gonna have to tune in next time to find out. Are you gonna chew? That's very rude.